I have to ask you, I know we're going to get to that other point, but what would you say in your experience is the bottom line of the relationship for us with our own mothers? Like, how does that affect us and our
It,
lives and what happens and how we
it
relate to
deeply
our
affects
feminine?
us, yes.
Yeah.
And, in my belief system, we choose our mothers, we choose our family, we choose our way, when we're going to be born, where we're going to be born, what time we're going to be born. All of that is chosen. Now, none of us are back we're all back with the old crowd. Okay, and that's the way I like to look at it. Is that we made a choice before we came here, and we all went, okay, who's going to be the mother, who's going to be, and they said, oh, I don't want to be the mother. Oh, but you do it so well. So we all came back again. And you may not be back with the same mother, maybe you were the mother last time, it doesn't matter. But that's an idea that you did have some relationship to this person. And for women especially, because we lie in the womb of our mother for 9 months, our eggs are, all those eggs, that million eggs, are all marinated in our mother's emotional soup. And her eggs were marinated in her mother's soup, etc., etc. Men make their sperm when they're ready, i.e., when they go through puberty. So it's different for a man. So as women, we have to do ancestral healing at least 3 generations back, if not 7 generations back. And so we can't separate from our mothers in that way. We're already marinated. We've already received their energy. Now, part of the issue is that our mothers supply are the intermediaries between, you could say, our spirit mother and earth mother. And the real role of a mother is to feed the child, both with safety and confidence and food, but to wean them off the breast by the age of 5. And that's what a mother should be able to do, is to say, now I'm putting you onto Mother Earth. This is who's going to supply you with nurturing and support. And that was my role, is to act as that intermediary. But for a lot of people, they don't have that full support, and they aren't feeling confident by 5 years, or maybe they were thrown off the breast too quickly. And so often there is a feeling of, if this is how my mother treated me, this is how Mother Earth will treat me. So our disconnect from Mother Earth isn't just what the patriarchy did, which was to look up in the sky, don't look down here. That many people don't trust their mother, their physical mother, therefore they don't trust Mother Earth.
Oh boy. What about someone who's adopted?
Again, various reasons. I will say my husband was adopted, but he doesn't see that as a bad thing, because he got away from the mother who he didn't want to be with, So you can sometimes, we must never, just because they're adopted, it must be this one way. Many adopted people also have Aquarian energy. So what I'm saying there is, if you have any Aquarian energy in your astrology, often you don't want to be here. You didn't want to be here in the first place. And you certainly don't want to be bound by other people's emotional demands or dogmas. So many people who have Aquarian energy often find themselves in adoptive situations or non-committed relationships.
That's fascinating. I can't even believe it, because I'm Aquarius.
Oh, I forgot that, Amy. Yes. So it's almost like we set ourselves up to be detached from our family. So it's like, thank God mother wasn't there, and someone would say to me, I had an absent mother and an absent father, and I go, but you're Aquarian, of course you did.
But why would you do that intentionally?
Because Aquarians have a big problem with, they believe, there are various things, but I'll just stay with the Aquarian. They believe that if they fully embody being on this earth, they will not know their way home. And so they have very strong spiritual connections, and they believe if they fully love being on this earth, they may not know their way home.
So how do we fix that? Help!
Sometimes, no, we have to do all the opposite things, which is literally, sometimes we have to cut off our spiritual connection and come fully onto earth in order to then create a vessel for all that wonderful wisdom of the Aquarian to come into.
Wait, cut off the spiritual connection. What does that mean?
Sometimes we have to stop meditating. Aquarians don't need to meditate anyway. But I've got my moon in Aquarius. Sometimes we have to say, I don't believe in anything All I know is true is being here on this earth.
Wow.
Now, I did that, my friend, and my guides didn't disappear. But I wasn't trying to hold on to some belief that kept me connected to just the spirit world.
Wow.
I had to literally say, okay, this is my food. This is, do foodie things,
Wow.
dancey things. And
Right now, I think my headphones just blew off my face. I'm like, that was, you're blowing my mind with this. I've never heard this before, and it's pretty
yeah.
powerful. I have goosebumps.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of, and I will say that there are other people, if you have your astrology, if anybody has their astrology, the Pluto in Virgo group, which were kind of born during the 60s, early 70s, late 50s, they all believe that, the world is in a bad place. I'll come down and fix it, then I can go home again.
Oh my God.
And they call them, lovely. They call themselves light workers because, of course, they've come from the light. They're nothing to do with this shitty world we're living in. Excuse me, but that, it's like, actually, you're part of this. You have to embody it rather than just coming to fix something. So, and then there's another group of beings who may have a lot of Scorpio energy, who feel everything. They feel the pain of the world. So they're telling me, why would I want to come onto this earth when it's so painful? And, people aren't going to understand me anyway. That's the Aquarian thing. Nobody understood me anyway. So when I'm looking at a chart, I see all the reasons why people don't want to come fully onto this earth. And therefore, they often pick a mother who represents what they already believe about being on planet Earth.
Who represents what they already believe.
Yeah.
Meaning,
so let's say a very emotional mother or an abused mother or abusive mother, they're the ones who already pick up on all the emotions of their mother and say, wow, it was so overwhelming to be in her womb even, because she had so much,
right.
She had miscarriages, death,
Yep.
I'm talking about the Scorpio people. They're like, wow, it was all so painful to be in her. And then it was a painful birth and it was a difficult birth. I nearly died. And then my mother was, emotionally whatever, basically that's then how they project their image, they project onto being on Earth and being here on the planet.
Okay, but I still am not clear why a soul would do that purposely.
Well, mainly because
it sounds horrible.
Well, we would like to think that every soul chose a path that would help them. And I believe every soul does. But sometimes we don't leave the astral world enough when we pass over. So we literally recreate a world that is exactly as we've just left it.
I see. To finish unfinished business, maybe.
Well, we may even just be addicted to it. And that's the problem. So if I kind of say when we leave, when we die, we should get ourselves free of what we call the astral world, the emotional world, or even the mental body world. But we often just kind of cycle back in again, carrying the same emotional addiction.
Wow.
Because you might say, why would anybody do that? I mean, that's what you are asking me. But what I'm saying there is, I might say, why is this woman or man staying in this relationship that's so bad? And we can come up with, well, they're codependent, they're this or that. But there's almost an addiction to this. Now, I could say, not taking it in, I have Mars in Capricorn, so I'm very much about order and working and martyrdom and rich, responsibility. And it's almost like, where am I obsessed that this is the belief system that I must live by? So It's not just the emotion, it's almost, but who am I when I'm not doing that? This has to be me. So sometimes, the biggest challenges I'm always having with people is having the courage to change, as you said. And I might say, you don't have to live this way, Amy. And you'll say, yes, I do, Christine. This is how it is, And I'll say, no, that's only in our belief system. So we've developed words like karma, or this is what I'm here to learn, or I'm doing it for healing my ancestors. But all of that is just belief systems.
Or it's genetic.
Well, it's genetic.
I hear
can't
that a lot.
do anything else. We have all these should, must, oughts. This is the code I have to live by. And none of it's true. It's just that it is our belief systems that give us security. Because if I said, Amy, that's not true, you or I might say, oh my goodness, well, what is true?
Exactly. You have to question everything.
We're scared of the mystery that I've been talking about, that we enter on that second day of our period, or say, what entering mystery is what we've been in lockdown or in cocooning. Is, oh my God, who am I if I'm not what I thought I was? What is the world like if it's not? So if I say, actually, your mum wasn't like that, you'll go, well, what, we hold on to stories in order to identify ourselves. And that's what needs to die.
So entering the mystery ultimately is really entering the feminine.
Yes.
Whether we're male or female or identify, it's just whatever gender person goes into the mystery is accessing your feminine.
You've got it. And that's, if I look at all the indigenous stories of creation, they all start in the beginning was not the word, but in the beginning was the no thing. And the sea, and so I call it the ocean of possibilities. Other people call it, the great sea. That's why Aphrodite coming out the sea, being born from the sea, was so significant, because the goddesses were born out of the waters, and the waters were seen to cover the earth, so in the beginning was this watery energy. And that's why, everything comes, we go back into the water, we go back into this ocean of possibilities. And we often call it no-thingness. In other words, there's nothing that's concrete or manifest. It's possibilities are available to us. That's what we go into, as you say, in that mystery is not, the mystery is, wow, look at the possibilities available to me.
It's kind of like no thing is everything. Like,
exactly.
It's nothing, therefore it can be everything.
Exactly.
It's no one thing.
It's just full of nothing yet as yet defined. And as soon as we focus on something, it becomes it. So that's when we focus on a belief and we refuse to say, no, stop telling me it's not real. And I say, well, it's one reality, but actually, if you look over here, there's another reality. Which one do you want?
You see, I feel like so many of us get stuck in such tunnel vision. How can we access our imagination? Why have we as a culture lost our whole imaginatory abilities?
It really is, we've lost that childlike innocence.
Yes.
And I could jump around here, but I mean, I worked a lot with children who had past life memories, and they were actually recorded. We knew they were true. But we lose that from about the age of 8, because we have to kind of get fermented in something. And a child, they would tell me a story and then they'd go off to play. They weren't bothered. There's like, here's one story, here's another story, and now I'm in this story. And it's that multidimensional appearance. And I use the analogy you've probably heard of, the men who are describing the elephant. One says it's got a big trunk, one says it's got a big leg, and the one under the tail says life is, shit, And even if you try to persuade that person to move into, just take one step away from the tail and look at the trunk, they would say, no, I have to stay here. It's my karma. It's what I do. And so what I've worked with the Courage to Change is how hard it is for us to change. Take that one step. And as you said, use that imagination. And the something I learned from Tony Robbins, he says, is if the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying where you are, you will not change. So you have to make, why would anybody go towards something that's more painful? And many people see change as more painful. So you have to make the change more pleasurable than where you are. So that's when imagination comes in, and you don't have to say, how can I say, if I walk along the road and I just go, I am embodying joyfulness, and I really embody it, not just think it. I'm like, wow, this is a joyful Christine. The more I do that, the more I then start to bring about the change I want in the world.